step by step. Yeah, Charles Taylor is no more. He's far away from us. The list is here. The National Patriotic Front of Liberia was headed by Charles Daniel Taylor. Charles Taylor, okay, we know that Charles Taylor is no longer here. Yes. He's serving his sentence in the Hague, which is okay. Yeah, which is okay because he himself created mayhem on the country. Oh, yes. So serving a sentence there in the Hague, let him go through the process. Just as Charles Taylor is going through the process, we want others to follow too. That's how everyone should be. Yeah, that's how everyone should be. It should be Charles Taylor. Everyone should serve what the you know what the mayhem they created on this country, the atrocity. They should face the justice. So Charles Taylor is not here. Let's focus on the Liberians United for Reconciliation and Democracy. Sekou Damate Kone. Sekou Kone is here. Sekou Damate Kone is here, but he's silent. And these are the guys that you know what I'm talking about. Those guys, they brought Liberia down to the knee. They brought Liberia down to the knee. And Sekou Damate Kone should be silent. Now we are coming after them. No, Sekou Damate Kone has nothing to say. Yeah. Because the thing about it is that when the first ability and every man realizes their mistake. Sekou Damate Kone, after they destroyed this country, what did they going to talk? Nothing. The reason is that because Nimele feels that after they killed and they slaughtered pregnant women in this country, they destroy the lives of our children. At the end result of it, what they can do now is that they will sit there and we Liberians will pay them. For every time I see Senator Yahya Nimle, Prince Johnson and Baka, you know the conclusion of it. I feel that the lives that they killed, I'm saying they destroyed, those lives that they take away is what we're paying them for. We're not paying them because they're senator. That's not it. We're not paying those guys because they're senator. The salary that Yahya Nimle receives every month is not because he's senator. It's because he killed, he destroyed, he burned down houses, he killed people in this country. So we pay him for it. So for 9 years, we'll pay him. We say, oh, sometimes in 1999, I'm saying in 1996, 95, when the bullets are flying all watching the country, when you used to look at pregnant women and slaughter, I'm saying, and slaughter them, you take the children, kids, and destroy them. So all what you did, we pay you for it this morning. We pay you for it. We pay you for it. So the 9 year salary that Nimle will receive, that's the reason. It's not because he's senator. Because a senator, as per the Liberian Constitution, must be people that come with dignity and distinction. Must be people that are respectful of the rule of law. Yeah. And must be people that at no point in time should disrespect the rule of law. Yeah, Nimle. And when the bloods of Liberians are still on the head of Yahya Nimle, he sat there disappointing them to tell Joe Barker, say, do not discuss about war crimes in this country. You see where our country is going, Barker? And that's why we said to our people that at times when the guys say these things, we don't blame the Barker. And we don't have no reason to blame them. You know why? Because when we sit on the road, we use the radio and educate the people that if you put people with character, with moral, those that respect the values as enshrined in the Constitution of our Republic. The Constitution says no one under the Republic is above the law. All persons in this country were equal. Are there not times in this country when Nimle will look at you and tell you, say, strip yourself naked and walk on the street? Yep. There were times in this country. There were times. I'm saying, Nimle will walk to your house and kill your mother, kill your father in this country. That's why the Constitution saying that everyone is equal. No one is above the law. Under our law, when you come in, we perform such act is murder. Nimle murder people in this country. Then he won't come lecture us about when a man becomes senator for us. Yeah. Then you say I should sit behind this microphone and call you Edda. You kidding me? The man said that Joe Barker should wait. When Joe Barker go about establishing the World Economic Forum or getting involved with it as soon as possible within his administration, Joe Barker see. And that's what he's saying. And for that, and for that, Barker, I will want to provide a balanced analysis on that. Yahya Nimle may be right. And I'm careful how I choose my words. The War Crimes Code, it is unarguably and the desperate desire of Liberians, especially those. And that's why when the president said, I want people at Yaya Nimene to be on the other side and understand the gravity of the consequences of the action. So what the president meant is that since Yaya Nimene fought the war, so they understanding the destruction of the day. We wish that they couldn't fight the war and be on the other side. And then those that fought the war, is singing there, riding luxury, living in luxury. Then understand the reason why War Crime Code is pertinent to the growth and development of our national, of our country. But this is a problem. The reason Yaya Nimene said if President Barker initiate the establishment, the conversation code, his government will receive serious setback states. Because the constitution, the way our government functions, matter pertaining to the development of our country derived from the House of Representatives, right, and being transferred to the Senate. Now we have a Senate characterized with people with men and women with unspeakable characters. People that lacks moral, men and women who are tainted character. Like you look through the Senate, you look at Bill Traore, you cannot discuss accountability and transparency with Bill Traore. Never. You look at Nathaniel McGill, you cannot discuss accountability and transparency with Nathaniel McGill. Never. You look at Yaya Nimene, you cannot discuss human rights and the rights of Liberia with Yaya Nimene. Never. You look at Prince Johnson. Never. You look at Albert Chief, you cannot discuss accountability.
But that's what
at that level, anything that goes to that level about accountability and transparency, my man, the guys will not sign up for it. On things that matter, so if you're talking about human rights and the rights of Liberians in this country, the guys will not sign up to it. So if nobody meets them, they have the power. Why it's true that the president has the desire. They refuse all of the House of Representatives. Even President Barker has the desire to do it. My man, that thing will not work. So you see where it is? Then you have group of men at that Senate with unspeakable characters. That's why we remind our people this going election. Remind our people that that place is honorable. And to be an honorable person, and Barker, you must demonstrate. You must demonstrate.
Okay, so we'll soon, of course, because at 8 o'clock we'll be taking our first set of guests. And again on this one, I think it is timely for my own end.
Of course,
yes. It is timely. Whether it come in the first year of Joe Barker administration, whether it come in the second year or the third year, once the Liberian people are yearning for it, once the Liberian people are in support of the establishment of the War Economics Crown Court, I think there's no problem. So let men and Yaya Nimene go sit down. They should come and lecture us on where or when we should go about establishing the War Economics Crown Court. Let Yaya Nimene let it rest. Let it rest. Let them just sit down and go and exonerate themselves from the killing that they did. Let them be let them be in a know that the establishment of the War Economics Crown Court is not targeting them. It's targeting people that created mayhem on this country. So if he thinks that he created mayhem on this country, let him just wait and go and exonerate himself. That's all. So they shouldn't come and lecture us here about when, where, and how the establishment of the War Economics Crown Court should be. So that's my own view on it. Probably you are saying because it will create a set.
What I'm saying is that right. I'm saying never ever should it be that we inform the president about when the president should bring out a conversation about the War Crimes Court. He's not that person. He's not even the person who should be listening to. When the issue about War Crimes Court come out the conversation, Yaya Nimene is not. It should not, and at no point in time, Liberians will listen to him. We'll talk about war crimes. When we're discussing War Crimes Code, the establishment of War Economic Crimes Code in the country, Yaya Nimene should shut up. Because this thing is not about him. It's about justice for those that he killed. It's about justice for those that he destroyed. My man, there are children in Grand Gila today. They end up to become farmers and without nothing to substantiate them, to sustain themselves. Because those are the dependent on. Yaya Nimene slaughtered them. So that's what I'm saying. But what my point has been, because you have people like Yaya Nimene at the Senate, they are the ones that will be I mean, they're killed in this conference about war crimes court.
Okay, I beg you, let's take like 4 calls here, then we cross over to our guest. We'll be discussing the Liberia Electricity Corporation coming up 8 o'clock, but let's take a few calls on 0778 665 699, 0778 665 699, or 0880 561 644, 0880 561 644, 0778 665 699. Call in and be live with us this morning on the show. Let's take this person. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning.
Your name is joining us from?
My name is Benu Beretia. I'm here from Providence.
Welcome, Benu.
Yeah, they walk on court. Me, I want to go to put here inside. Oh, it needs for. I beg you.
When you put your hands inside, he knew a spoil.
Yeah.
Why? Why you say so?
They will say different way.
But Benu, are you in support of it?
Are you support?
Okay, so now, no, listen. This is about the Liberian people. It's not about politicians.
Yeah.
Yo. No, it's about the Liberian people, Benu. We'll still taking your calls. We can take like 3 more calls. 0778 665 699, 0778 665 699. Let's take this person here quickly. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning so much, my dear. Good morning this morning, and thank you for the topic of discussion.
Your name is joining us from?
My name is James Manupake Dungato Balana, 2 junkie from around the 72nd.
Welcome, my brother. You're live with us.
That's great. Thank you so much this morning. Look, listen to me, Alex Mufai. This country, that nobody is terrified of friends will die to their day here to communicate in this country. So there are people in this country, whenever we talk about war crime, they feel that they are the only people that communicate in this country. Let them get change to justice, let justice prevail in this country. They all have been senators, some of them are representatives. They went to the international scene and they found these treaties. They are aware before even the RRC. Some of them were representatives, some of them were senators, some of them were people in this country. You all agree the recommendations from the TRC would move to the war crime court in this country. So where are they coming from? They are aware of the TRC are for the age of the recommendations. Every recommendation of the TRC should be to take the rules. It will be war crime court. How come people in this country are super rich at the detriment of the Liberian people? You see them riding our cars and super cars around this here. The Liberian people are struggling and eating grass and go to bed with belly rampants, and people that are able to see they are the only people in this country.
Okay.
So we urge you, we unleash you, Mr. President, go out and negotiate surrounding countries in Syria. Make sure the war crime court is established. Those few guys who some of them they are always kind of not afraid again.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let's take 2 more calls here. 0778 665 699, 0880 561 644. Let's take this person. Good morning, welcome.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Your name is joining us from?
My name is William Newman. I call you from Ominga Blighty community to be specific.
Welcome, Ominga. Welcome, man.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. You see, my brother, when I hear people talking about war crime court should stay, let us not discuss about it. I think what President Newman Boakai need to do is to stand that general, I don't know how to call it, order that Honorable Edwin Snow made mention about last night when I was just sitting by the radio. You see, people talking war crime court should stay because they did not carry the tears that we are carrying today. We are grieving for our relative, our family. We are grieving. My mother, my aunt was killed. She, along with her children and her husband. Can you imagine? They put the bodies in a wheelbarrow and took them to the next community, telling those that are in the community to pay.
Yeah, but Thomas Yaya Nimley and Prince Johnson them saying that it is not timely. They are saying the first year of Boakai's administration should have been focusing on the issue about the arrest, facing the rules as promised, the 100 days deliverable. Let's forget about the war crime code. That's what they are saying.
Oh man, let's take for example. Okay, Look at Sierra Leone today. So you want to tell me no development is going on in Sierra Leone? If you count the development that are going on in Sierra Leone now, as compared to Liberia, one of the oldest countries in West Africa, Sierra Leone is now far ahead. Are they not? Is Sierra Leone not developing?
They are.
So let the people stop causing noise as we are grieving for our relatives and family around here.
Okay, thank you. We take our last call, then we cross over to our guest to bring you. Let's take this person here quickly. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, your name, where joining us from?
This is Iman. I'm calling from the Tupu Bell.
Welcome, Iman.
Thank you very much. I've been monitoring the show. Well, I want to put our complaint from the president for taking the bold step to give the Liberian people what they desire. I can come here, conjure our people, and then we award our position, pass around each other, and then they want to dictate. It is the wish and the aspiration of the Liberian people. We voted Joseph Human Boakai to do our work. And my youth are saying that there are many good people in Liberia than bad people. This is the time for the good people to win. So let it cry, and do that. I know there are many good people in our house than bad people. So those that are for are more than those that are against. So we are going to win this battle.
All right. Thank you so much, Harris. You listen to Liberians.
Indeed, Waka, and the second to the last caller, you listen to that guy's testimony. These are the kind of conversations, the kinds of conversations you're going to receive, Waka, every time we talk about Waka Uncle. So you're telling me that means you allow the conversation that you listen to that story. Huh? But that's what I'm saying. So yeah, Nimene should find place and say that. Let us shut up when talking about the Waka Uncle thing. Let the ordinary Liberian, those are suffering from the I'm saying those are suffering from their actions. Because as we speak, there are Liberians in this country. Some of them got wounded. Up to the stand, they still live with those wounds. Those are the people that should be talking. Those are the ones I would say we don't walk and go again. Listen to them. Now you're the other thing. Papa, we got a transition, like you said. Take our guest on it.
So we transition and bring our guest from the United States of America, Ikina Phillips. Yes, he's here of us this morning the Liberia Electricity Corporation. We have some things to talk about, and he's now joining us from the Mr. Phillips to the Punch Breakfast Show. Welcome. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing very well. Good morning to the Punch Breakfast Show. Good morning, everyone. It's a great and glorious morning once again in the Republic of Liberia. It's early morning, 2:00 in the morning here in Houston, Texas. So thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's kick the ball rolling. We are focusing on the Liberia Electricity Corporation. Liberians are always crying on this issue about the LEC. You somebody from that field and with vast experience on the electricity sector of our country. Tell us more. What have you experienced from your end, and what are you hearing from Liberians back home?
As I've always said, the challenge, the issue with electricity in Liberia is not something that only this that we're grappling with as a country, as a nation, as a people with at this time. This has always been an issue with regards to generation capacity, transmission capacity, distribution capacity, all across this country. And I can argue and say that the reason why we, our nation, our country, across every political subdivision, the lack of development, the lack of economic growth, the lack of job creation, and the lack of diaspora investment into each county is a fundamental part of the lack of electricity, power supply in these counties that allow and support economic growth and prosperity. So we as a people, we as a nation, we haven't really come to the understanding as to why electricity is so important. And as a result of that lack of understanding, that's the reason why successive governments have really not made the proper investments and put together the proper knowledgeable team to formulate and to implement an energy policy that will serve as the foundation for this country to be built upon. And so as you look across Liberia, you look across Monrovia, you see all of these challenges, the poverty, the lack of jobs, lack of opportunities. All of these things stem from this one truth, this one fact, that until we get this electricity thing right, we as a nation will be as old as 175 years and still nothing to show for it. Here it is. Ghana is celebrating their independence. They're not even 70 years old. But look at Ghana and look at Liberia. So you see Ghana is now exporting electricity across the West Africa sub-region. And here we are trying to buy electricity. Ghana has Airbnbs all across the country. Hotels, 5-star hotels, a growing, expanding tourist industry and manufacturing, all because they have a foundation of electricity. La Côte d'Ivoire next door, the same thing. And here we are, we being a nation that helped in all of their independence, and we can't even keep our lights on. So it is a representation of leadership not understanding how important electricity is and the role it plays in building, crafting, stimulating growth, and industrializing our economy and creating jobs. That's why we are where we are today. No other reason.
Okay, you want to come in?
Yeah. So it presents a whole. It gives a way now we can expand the conversation. When you say that the leadership, in times out, have failed to understand the importance of electricity in the development of our country. One is considering a lot of our leaders we have had over the time are individuals that have had outside experiences. You want to talk about working different sectors outside of the country, and they understand the importance of electricity. But it brings us to a point that why is it that in Liberia it is extremely different? The situation is presenting a whole different situation. Like you want to talk about from the Salif's administration, she brought a lot of individuals from the United States to assist the government. Those were individuals that work over times in different organizations outside of the country. They were here for 12 years. We want to talk about the George Weah government as well, contracting other Liberians who have had the time outside of the country to study and have experience of the outside world that cannot do without electricity. Why is it that the conversation with Liberia is extremely different all of the times?
Very, very, very good point, Harris. Let me just break it down like this. One of the amazing things that we have to understand is that when you live in a developed and industrialized nation, where I am today, these United States of America, I think people tend to forget that as old as America is, as industrialized as this nation is, one of the most important things that this nation went through was what they call the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution, where a lot of key components were built into this country's foundation that allowed us who came later on in multiple decades later to be born in Liberia and emigrate into this country. We now benefit from those things that were established: electricity, the transmission grid, the interstate highway system, the railroad, different educational institutions. So one of the things that many Liberians don't associate with their, especially in the diaspora, with their success, their prosperity, their economic growth, all of their savings and everything else, we tend to forget and we tend to not make the connection between who we are and what we've become and the availability, the supply, the effective transmission, generation, and distribution of electricity across the U.S. I'll prove a point to you. Let me prove it this way. When you leave, if one of you happens to leave and come to the U.S. to go to school here for a 2 or 3 or 4 year degree, whatever the case may be, you'll come to realize that once you land in the U.S., the issue of electricity is no longer an issue of thought. Why? Because it's readily available. The university, the school you're going to, you don't worry about somebody putting the generator on because it's there. You walk to class, you sit in a class, everything powers up because electricity is available. So even when you learn that 4-year degree, you're successful in it and everything, and now try to go back to Liberia to replicate, to duplicate, to produce, to apply that which you have learned in the U.S., in a society, in an economy that is not powered up by electricity, you come to realize is next to impossible to produce those things. So this is where I think knowledge and understanding are so critical. They're such a critical part. So in as much as so many people who lived and worked in the U.S. came back home during the Salif administration and had big jobs, but don't forget the connection was not there because without electricity, I keep saying this over and over. I don't know how much more to raise my voice, how many more times to repeat it. Energy, electricity is a business. And leaderships have to understand that it is a business. And in order for this business to succeed, to help to build, to grow a nation by attracting direct foreign investment and the diaspora back to their country, to replicate the success from the industrialized world, you need electricity. So without this, the country just continues to remain in this state where in the abundance of electricity from CIE and other countries passing through Liberia, available power is passing right through, but the country sits in darkness. So there has to be an understanding of how to apply this thing so that we can get the results to move this country forward. Wake up.
We have the Liberia Electricity Corporation, that institution, along with other institutions like the Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission and the different energy institutions. I believe we are the ones assisting the government, advising the government on the different ways in which that energy can be efficient and effective in this country. I mean, so when these kinds of conversations come out, one is thinking as to whether those institutions have lived up to its usefulness.
Well, the thing is this, Harris, think about this. What is an institution? What is an institution? An institution is not the building. An institution is not the offices in that building. An institution is not the furniture in the building. An institution are the people who are employed, right, appointed, that are supposed to come into that building as an institution. The people, they make up the institution. So if you appoint incompetent people, if you take all the wrong people, remember this, if you take all the wrong people and you put all the wrong people in all the right places, what do you expect to happen? They're not going to, they will produce results, of course, I agree. But what the question now becomes, what will be the results that they will produce? So, the Ministry of Lands, Mines, and Energy, the Liberia Electricity Corporation, all of those the LERC, the regulator, they're great institutions. Look at the LERC. The LERC is chaired by a very competent, knowledgeable leadership, and they've put into place, you've got regulations in place that govern the energy rate per kilowatt hour. You've got regulations in place for generation, transmission, distribution companies that can come in, they've deregulated the market, competent, capable people in that institution. But let's go to the LEC. What can we say about the LEC? Look at the condition of this nation. Look at where we are. Over 170 years of age. And you have an opportunity here, rebuild hydro, Transco CLSG. And by the way, if you don't know, gentlemen, Transco is connected to 12 other electrical grids within ECOWAS. So La Côte d'Ivoire is not the only country that can provide power to Liberia through Transco. We can buy power from Ghana and transport it in. We can buy power from Senegal and transport it in. So Transco is just a means to bring power from so many other countries. But look and see when you have a good institution, but incompetent leadership. Incompetent leadership, and this is where we find ourselves today. I mean, and look, Liberian businesses are being destroyed. The schools, students can't learn, and now here it is, a new government in office. How are the various ministries supposed to produce results without electricity? And this is where we find ourselves. So all of these things are all connected. So, like you rightly said, Harris, the leadership of these institutions must have a greater understanding as to how of the role that electricity plays in making them functional and making them successful to produce transformational change in this country. That's the point.
The leadership at the LEC, before Boka comes in, at the LEC, this is like Moni Captain heads the LEC, and being hired by the World Bank reports confidence that could help the World Bank and that of the Liberian government achieves help solve the energy crisis in Liberia. I mean, this is a man have stayed overwhelming confidence of from the Liberian government during the then George Weah administration. Similarly, is happening on the Joe Barker administration. I've been told that the president will depart the country today for the Ivory Coast. Part of the president visits, the president delegation.
He's part of it.
Will be Moni Captain is part of the president's delegation to negotiate in terms of electricity. And so it just a conversation when you say that a part of the reasons why the LEC has been, is ill performing is because of the lack of leadership. But this, they have in their head a part of the president delegation as well to go and negotiate in terms of energy supply of electricity in this country. I mean, one is looking to if an institution has an incompetent leader going to negotiate, what difference would that negotiation bring to the country?
Very good point. Very good point. Very good point. I was in anticipation of this question. I was hoping that this question would be raised. So let's go deep let's go deep into this question. Let's take it apart, right? So number one, you talk about the confidence of the World Bank, the confidence of the EU, the confidence of the international community. First and foremost, the international community, or World Bank, IMF, Africa Development Bank, EU, whatever way you want to term them, they will work with whoever you put into that place, whether that person is incompetent, knowledgeable, has understood. They will work with whoever you put there. Why? Because at the end of the day, that's your responsibility. That person serves at your pleasure. So if a leadership, right? So let's go back to the previous administration. They didn't have the understanding that this guy was creating a situation where he was one person in multiple roles. And if the president, who he served at the pleasure of, was comfortable with that, what is the UN, what is the World Bank or the EU or Africa Development Bank? It's not their place to say you hired the wrong person here. No, they will go right along with it. Now, number two, I think the president has made a very, very good choice in the new chairman of the board of the LEC, Councillor Emmanuel Tule. I think the president made a very wise choice, not only because he's a graduate of the same University of Houston where I went to. He's an energy lawyer, a very, very good energy lawyer, somebody who has a master's in energy and natural resources law, that he brings that competence, that knowledge into that new position. But again, he's newly seated. So I think the president made a wise decision in carrying the very person who created the problem. So he himself, the president, will be able to hear firsthand how the country got to this thing. He doesn't want anybody to interfere or interrupt the conversation. You don't want to take somebody who understands energy law and bring them into a conversation. So if a deal gets made, it would be that this new addition to the team brought the deal. So like the president, one thing I like about the president, he's very, very tempered in his response. He's a person of deep and long thought, and he doesn't react, he responds. Meaning that, when you respond to something, that means you have thought about it for a long time. So he wants to go with the present managing director or CEO to La Côte d'Ivoire and sit with the CIE team to hear firsthand how much does this country owe. Because I've been hearing all kinds of numbers on the radio and all kinds of numbers from public relations people, all type of numbers from the engineers all on the air. So I want to hear it. I want to see it myself. How much do we owe? How do we get to this point? How much power was purchased? How much was spent on it? Because don't forget, during the 6 years, President His Excellency President Bouaké today was not president. He was former president. So he was what? He was a private citizen. So he was not privy to all of what was done. You get my point. So he wants to see, wants to hear it firsthand. And then he will have the understanding to say, okay, so now I know how we got here. So there's no doubt that what the country is experiencing is a direct result of your incompetence. So now I can see, now I can understand, now I can have a private one-on-one conversation with my peer, His Excellency Alassane Ouattara, and say, look, I need your help on this issue. And I firmly believe that whatever will come out of this will help the president to have a deeper knowledge, deeper understanding of how did this country get to this point. So him going, those are just photo opportunities, but at the end of the day, it's a very good thing that he went so the president himself can get firsthand knowledge, firsthand understanding of how we got to where we are and how we get out of this place.
A lot of critics have considered that captains, the president's decision to have captain on his team, especially when Liberians themselves have issues with morning captain, it shows that perhaps he's trying to solidify his relationship with President Bouaké, as he did previously with George Weah, and be able to enjoy the confidence of the president. So to get that done is to start a means through which President Bouaké can be confident and feel satisfied working with captain. And captain is good at doing that. So it could be another side of the conversation.
And just to add up to Harris' question, do you think there is need for change at the LEC, most especially top hierarchies there, wherein that they've been serving positions and we are not getting the results that Liberians should get, most especially when it comes to quality electricity supply in our country? Do you think there is need for change?
First and foremost, let's take it one question at a time. Okay, so let's talk about Harris's question, right? So the point here is, if I spend time with the president all the time, it doesn't mean the president enjoys my confidence. It does mean that I'm in a position at this time because the president himself needs to get a better understanding, deeper understanding as to why we are in the state where we are. Number two, removing the present leadership doesn't automatically turn the lights on. Right now, the country needs a solution, and the president needs to get a deeper, wider, higher understanding as to why we got and how we got to where we are. So in order for him to do that, in order for him to gather the proper information, to make the right decision, okay, transitioning from one leadership to the other is not the easiest thing in the world, because right now the country doesn't need just a leadership. The country needs a solution that would turn the lights on. And when they come on, the lights have to stay on in order to stimulate economic growth and create jobs and move this country forward. It's not just putting the lights on. If that was the case, we could call Riversest now, and Riversest would put the lights on in Gardnersville. But then at the end of it, within 5-6 hours, they'll have to call Riversest again, but Riversest to put the lights on in Cinco. But it doesn't help stimulate economic growth because the lights keep rolling. Number two, your point that you mentioned there, Woman. There's no doubt, like I said, transitioning from one leadership to the other is a step-by-step process. The president has made the first choice, right? And what was that first choice? Councilor Emmanuel Tule, chairman of the board, of directors, the Liberia Electricity Corporation. He has to get commissioned. He has to get up to speed. He has to be brought up to speed. He has to wrap his hands and his head around what the LEC is. It's a very big animal, so he needs to understand it. But the good thing is he comes into office with a lot of experience from what the LACC, and he comes into office with a great experience from the PPCC. So whatever was being done within and throughout that company, he's going to wrap his hands around it and identify where the challenges are, the bottlenecks are, and he will assemble the right competent team and make proper recommendations to His Excellency Joseph Numa Boakai. Let's go on to the next thing here, Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Liberia is not short of engineers. I think the engineers within the LEC, they're good, competent people. I think they're just engineers just following instructions. And I think they make good decisions in terms of generation, transmission, and distribution. But in order for us to be effective, this company needs to be run as a business. It must run as a business. It has to run as a business. If this company is not run as a business, then we will not get the transformational results that this country needs, so that it would produce the change within the environment or within the society, so that this nation can create and attract foreign investments at all levels, because that's what this country needs. Let me before you move on to your next question, let's look at this investment that's coming. Everyone's talking about the HPX investment, right? We should look into build a new rail from the northern part of Liberia, Nimba County, to bring iron ore down to the port of Buchanan. I can argue that Liberia, direct diaspora investment from Liberians in the US, Canada, and Europe is way greater than the HPX investment into Liberia. That's the point. That's a fact. Liberian diaspora investment from the US, from Canada, from the EU will be greater and more sustainable over a longer period of time, and will create more jobs in more counties across this country, or political subdivisions, once this electricity issue is effectively addressed, so that we solve our generation issue, we solve transmission, get the power out, build more distribution networks from the 5 Transco stations, and connect this national electric grid, so that all of the counties are connected and attract the diaspora investment. So that's how important the business of electricity, the business of energy is. And once we can get this understanding as a people, as a nation, from His Excellency Joseph Numa Boakai to the new chairman of the board, and once the chairman assembles the right team and then make the recommendations to the president, and the new leadership comes into place, I expect great results, and I'm committed to supporting the new chairman of the board at 100%.
I've had a time to read through a report from the Joint Cluster, the Joint Transitional Theme on petroleum, energy, and cluster. There are a lot of issues being raised in that report. Okay. You want to talk about the report spelled out that the current management, or the management of LEC, owes Sia Energies, who is the supplier of electricity as well from the Ivory Coast, a whooping $13 million United States dollars. Though the LEC have said that money, the amount raised, the amount mentioned is above what they owe the Sia Energies. I also read through that report. It says that the management of LEC entered into contracting agreements with 2 other energies, LRB Solar, that's LRB Energy, and that of Jungle Power. And what that report says is that the management of LEC willfully extended the contract period from 5 years, even though the 5 years initially given did not at any point in time come to an end. It was somewhere around the first, the second year, and the management extended that contract to 15 years. And what was it appears more strange to Boakai is that the management, even with some of the debts owed to the management of LEC, I mean, one is considering with all of those problems that that report pointed out that the management of LEC will resolve. It presents a difficult condition for the broadcast administration in terms of whether his government will achieve effective and efficient electricity supply in this country.
Very good point. So let's unpack what you just said. So number one of the most amazing things for me in that cluster report was that the management of the LEC came to the cluster meeting and they didn't even bring proper audited financial reports. So nobody knows what the LEC in terms of revenue, what the LEC generates in revenue every month or every quarter or every year. If you look at that cluster report, it says that they show up there with unaudited, unprofessional financial report for only 1 year. For 1 year. For 1 year. That's unacceptable. That's number one. So number two, so nobody knows where's the revenue. Nobody knows in terms of numbers. I mean, it's not me, it's the cluster report. Number two, that's why the new chairman of the board, Councilor Emmanuel Tule, an energy lawyer, will be looking and reviewing all of these things that were done under this 3-in-1 leadership at the LEC, where the same chairman, with the same CEO, with the same board secretary, with the same consultant, with the same secretary for the board. So he will be reviewing all of this and seeing whether or not these agreements were done within the proper framework, and then come back to the newly appointed board for review on some of these contracts. That's also a very troubling thing. Number three, these companies, LIB Energy and Jungle Power, these are asset management companies. So the cross-border grids that come from La Côte d'Ivoire into Zouedru, into Hopper, and also into from La Côte d'Ivoire into Nimba. Jungle Power manages the Nimba grid. And again, like number four, like you said earlier, the opening question on this issue here is that's the reason why the president is in La Côte d'Ivoire to meet with His Excellency Alassane Ouattara and the CEO and the team of CIE Energies. What is actually going on here? I don't want to hear anything from people on my delegation. No, I want you to tell me so I can write it down. Information. How much do we owe you? How did we get to this point? I don't want to hear from anyone. I want to hear from you. This is, you tell me, I'm your customer. Tell me how much I owe you. Because all I've heard from these people are just stories, lies, innuendos, and every other spider story and vlog. I want to hear from you, Mr. CEO of CIE. How much do we owe you on the Ganta grid? How much do we owe you on the Hopper grid? How much do we owe you on the Zouedru grid? Let me hear from you. How much do we owe you through Transco at LEC in Monrovia? I want to know. I want to see it. Let me write those numbers down. And that's why the president had to go there himself, so he will understand, he will know, and he will have it in writing directly from those in CIE, because Transco is a transporter. Transco only brings the power that Liberia purchases from whosoever, and they bring it in and deliver it. And last on this point, he will then most likely ask the question, so you sold us the power at 11 cents. Transco transported the power for 2.2 cents, and you sold the power for 23 or 24 cents, and you didn't make a profit. How is that possible when you could make 100% profit margin? How is that possible? So that's the reason why something's just not right within the LEC. And the confirmation of something not being right is that in the abundance of electricity passing right through this country on Transco, the country sits in darkness. So it speaks to the confirmation of incompetence and lack of understanding and lack of knowledge on the present team outside of the newly appointed chairman of the board, Councilor Emmanuel Tule. That's why he's going to wrap his head around this. He's going to come to a greater understanding, and he will make sure all of what's being done there will come to an end, and we would then come out of this with the proper solution to turn the lights on and keep the lights on to stimulate economic growth and move this country in the right direction by building a firm foundation. I'm confident of this.
What could be your recommendations to the Buakai's administration, most especially the new code of officers that are taking position at the Liberia Electricity Corporation? Is there any recommendations in getting things working again in full speed?
I think one again. I mean the new chairman of the board, he will be brought up to speed because now he's, LEC now is his responsibility as the chairman of the board. He enjoys the confidence of the president. So as a lawyer, like anyone, when you hire a lawyer to run an entity, or when you hire a lawyer, you have a problem and you hire a lawyer, the first thing a lawyer wants to know is he wants to know the ABCs. He wants to know the 1, 2, 3s. He wants to know everything about this thing so that he will be able to figure out how you address this. And I'm confident that he will bring in the technical team, and he will put together a technical team, a competent team at the board level, so that and I'm advising, recommending, and suggesting to him that one of the most important things that the new man, that the board of directors under his leadership should recommend, push, and advise and drive with the president is that the new compensation plan, right? No more salaries, no more salaries. This has to be a compensation plan based on deliverables, based on KPIs, key performance indexes, that are 100% aligned with the president's arrest vision or arrest agenda, so that the tourism sector, the T in arrest, is for tourism. How will the tourism sector of this country grow without electricity? It can't work. How will the education sector of this country work without electricity? How will the national security sector of this country be effective to keep everybody safe without electricity? So Councillor Thule has a great job on his hands. And I think all of us who are supporting him, especially all of us in the diaspora, we support him. We will give him great advice. But I think a compensation-based plan for the new management team based on deliverables, KPIs, objectives that are set into place, and review them every 90 days or every 30 days, so that if you don't meet any, you get this amount. If you meet 25%, you get this amount. But just paying people salaries to sit in positions and not produce results, that's why we are where we are today. And that is no longer acceptable. So I will push, I will drive, I will work with the new chairman of the board to make sure that the new incoming management team that will enjoy his confidence will be put on a deliverables-based compensation plan or a performance-based compensation plan. And this salary thing can go out the window. So we need to hold people accountable. I'm sure you agree, because if we don't hold them accountable, this country will remain in perpetual darkness in the abundance of electricity.
The Buakai, I mean, coming quickly. The inefficiency of electricity across the country, it continues to create problems for business people, I mean, students, and every sector of this country has been greatly affected by the inefficiency of electricity supply. Today, the business people will argue that indeed they are spending more in terms of on electricity than what exactly they get in return. Part of the reasons is because most of them have been made to run their own private, generate their own private source of power supply, and it is posing serious problem on them. So I'm thinking the issue about electricity in this country is a crisis that requires urgent, immediate, and effective attention be given to it. But with all what you explained, in terms is a whole institutional reform that will take years to be achievable under the Buakai's administration. I believe that Liberians will be out of patience before the Buakai administration gets to get all of these things done. You want to talk about auditing, you want to talk about restructuring the LEC. I mean, I'm saying getting these things done before the Buakai administration achieves on that. They'll be in the second, third, or fourth year. But then Liberians are out of patience in terms of thinking what a President Buakai has solution for the inefficiency of electricity in this country.
I have to professionally disagree with that point, Harris, because as I've always said, energy is a business. Energy is a business, and electricity being part of the energy, the combination of energy. Okay, electricity is a business. It's a very profitable business. It is a big business, and we cannot allow something so vital, so critical, so important to the existence of this country, of this nation, to just be handed over to get put in the hands of incompetent people who have no knowledge, no understanding, just for them to do whatever they want to do. And at the same time, we all say that that electricity is so critical. That means we're contradicting ourselves. We cannot say that electricity is critical to our nation's existence, jobs, opportunities, and then at the same time take a $75,000 car that you just picked up from Africa Motors and give it to the guy who can't drive, for him to go and take the kids over to Barracuda, or take the kids over to the Farmington Hotel. You're going to get a call in 20 minutes and say that the guy wrecked the car and kill everybody in the car. So this is what we've been doing perpetually, year after year. We've taken something so vital and we've placed it in the hands of incompetent people. What I believe, considering that Transco is a transporter of massive amount of energy, passing right through Liberia, connected to CIE and other grids, power producers and suppliers of generation companies within the West Africa region, provides or presents a unique opportunity just to flick a switch. That's what you have to understand. I mean, once this thing is addressed, it's a solution. And I believe that the CIE people, they're not going to work with an incompetent leadership that doesn't understand the business of energy. So once the president gets a better understanding, a deeper knowledge, and a grip on the realities, the facts, the truths, once he comes back, he's going to have a 1.5 or 2 hour flight coming back. He will have time to think about this thing. And when he comes back, he will pick up the phone and call Councilor Tula and say, look, Mr. Chairman, I need this thing resolved. And Councilor Tula needs to have a solution. Liberia, the LEC doesn't need to be fixed. It needs a solution that will turn the lights on, and the lights will stay on. And now the LEC, don't forget, the LEC, on the board of the LEC is who? Is the Minister of Lands, Mines, and Energy. So that will all tie into the energy policy of this country. And if you listen very well to what the new incoming Minister of Lands, Mines, and Energy said, he wants a paradigm shift. He wants Liberia to go from a beggar nation to a prosperity nation. Because of what? Because of energy. We cannot allow concession companies to come in this country and exist as islands. They must connect to the grid so that we can industrialize their mining concessions to create more jobs. So I don't believe in a 6-year thing, Harris. I think as a professional person, as an engineer, as somebody who understands the energy business, considering that the most expensive infrastructure is already in place, which is Transco, to deliver the power from even Ghana. We can buy power from Ghana and bring it in. We can buy power from Guinea and bring it in. We can buy power from Cote d'Ivoire and bring it in.
It is.
And so
it has
I'm coming. And so once this is handled properly with the right solution under the leadership of Councilor Tulu, the new chairman of the board, along with the Minister of Lands, Mines, and Energy, this thing can be addressed within less than a year. And we need to bring on new generation capacity. So in their restructuring, the transformational plan of the LEC, I think this thing is less than 3 months that can be solved. This is not a complicated thing when you have competent people to solve it. The reason why this thing has gone on for so long is because you had people who don't even know how to drive the car, driving the car. That's how we got to where we are. Go ahead, Harris.
There are conversations in the public sphere that there is a need of privatizing the LEC. I mean, turning over the LEC to a private sector, so that people, private companies can manage the LEC, so that will have effective and efficient electricity in this country. Were you to advise the Joe Walker administration relatively to whether the LEC should be privatized? I mean, what exactly we say to the president?
Well, privatization is not necessarily an automatic solution. That's the first thing. Privatization is not just an automatic solution. So, because a utility company has many parts. You have generation, you have transmission that move power from one place to the other, like this backdrop. And then you have the distribution, which is what we call the last mile that connects the homes. You have also the commercial aspect of it. So what segment of it is going to be privatized? What shape is that privatization going to take? What form is it going to take? One of the biggest challenges with LEC today, besides the leadership, that the leadership is only, again, I always keep saying it, leadership is made up of individuals. Right now, we have a bright, competent, knowledgeable individual appointed by the president, Councilor Tule, the chairman of the board. That's a good start. Number two, we already know that the incoming minister of lands, mines, and energy is going to be on that board. And then whoever else, minister of finance is going to be on the board, and minister of justice will be on the board. So we already know we got 4 people on the board. Now the next thing is to bring the rest of the people. And the other thing, on the issue of privatization, LEC can be privatized, but privatized in what? What shape, what form is privatization going to take? It's not something you just sit down and say privatization. Because as I've always said on many other shows, one truth is that the LEC does not contribute to the national budget. So how can something so massive, so essential, so critical to national development, generating so much revenue, not contribute to the national budget? That's a question that needs to be asked. That's a very critical question that needs to be asked. But so I think, at the same time, you only have one company that handles all the selling of the tokens. Libanga, I mean, why should that be? Why aren't there other opportunities for other Liberian companies to come and handle the commercial aspect of it, so that energy can be prepaid to the LEC, and so LEC can make their money up front even before they distribute the power? So those are some of the complexities that come into privatization. Because like I said, energy is business, and there's a business of energy. And right now, Liberia has access to a tremendous amount of energy, electricity, passing right through the country. But the right leadership to craft the right agreements and to run the company in an efficient, productive, profitable way, so that it would bring transformational results into the lives and the economy of this country. That's what this country needs. And I believe the president made a very good choice, a smart, intelligent, competent choice in Councilor Tule. And once they get back, I think the conversation will now move to the next level. And I believe that by the end of this week or into next week, you will start seeing some transformational changes at that level.
Baraka, before we take course, the president will be in Ivory Coast. It is our expectations that he will arrive safely in Ivory Coast on today, as per the executive mansion release. What do we hope to see? I mean, from the president's visit, especially on the issue of electricity, now that understanding all of those challenges, the situations confronting LEC, I mean, is there a gateway to the solutions after the president's visit from the Ivory Coast?
I think this trip, Harris and Borma, this trip is important for the president because this will give him first-hand information. Because before you solve anything, almost like a good doctor, you've got to do what? You've got to do a good diagnosis. And right now, the reason why the lights are on, the reason why LEC, we as a country through LEC cannot get any additional capacity from CIE through Transco is simply because you had an incompetent leadership that ran the company off the cliff and into the ground. And how did these guys get this power? Government made the investment. Don't forget now. Don't forget how we got here. We've got to tell the whole story. The government of Liberia, under His Excellency George Manawia, through the LEC and the Ministry of Land, Mines, and Energy, signed a power purchase agreement for 27 megawatts and made that capital investment to buy the power from CIE and bring that power into Liberia through Transco. That power was supposed to be sold, stimulate economic growth, produce jobs, boost this economy. The LEC was supposed to make a profit on that power. To what? To buy more power, to increase the capacity in preparation for what? This very dry season. So we were not supposed to have the brownouts, the load shedding, if this leadership should have done the right thing by running the business properly. So the reason why we have all of the load shedding is because this leadership outside of Councillor Tule failed in carrying out the proper energy business and management of that initial capital investment by Liberian taxpayers to buy the 27 megawatts. Because don't forget, I've watched several different shows, and one of the engineers was on, the planning engineer for transmission and distribution was on, I believe it's OKFM, and he flatly said that the upgrade was supposed to be 50 megawatts. So 50 megawatts should have been the next level based on their planning and their load projection. But they ran the company off the cliff. And if we had 50 megawatts coming in from Transco, we would have increased it because they were the profitable solution, buying it at 11, transporting at 2.2, and selling it for 23 or 24 cents. That's a profitable business. It's a profitable business. But you had bad leadership, incompetent people who didn't understand the business of energy. And that's how this nation, that's how these people, that's how all of us got into this point. So we in the diaspora, we're really, really supporting the president on his new appointment. And we're hoping a solution can come so that the diaspora investments can pour into Liberia as a result of electricity to create jobs all across this country and get this country and this economy going once again. So I'm expecting great things from this trip.
Okay, so you listen to the voice of Mr. Ikena Phillips. He's an policy advisor to NNJ, and we are here taking some calls this morning. Just placing your calls now on 0778-665-699. Once again, 0778-665-699 or 088-0561-644, 088-0561-644. You can place in your calls and be live with us this morning. You listen to the conversation about electricity and LEC in Liberia. So probably you want to ask Mr. Ikena a question, and or you have a point to contribute this morning on the show. You can call 077. That's 0778-665-699, 088-0561. 644 088-0561-644. Mr. Phillips, we saw the past government, the Weah administration. There was a point in time wherein his finance minister, in person of Samuel Tue, told the Liberian people that we have surplus of electricity, and now we were exporting electricity to the Ivory Coast. That statement raised an eyebrows in the country, and a lot of people started to see it as a mockery to the Liberian people. And here we are now. We have reached this stage wherein the lack of stable electricity country. Does it point the fact that that statement was a lie from the better of the devil, because Liberians are not receiving the quality energy that we should be receiving, and somebody once told us that we were exporting current to our neighboring Ivory Coast?
Well, the thing is this, Borka, it's a confirmation of incompetence. Okay, so what you just brought up is a confirmation that you have an incompetent group of people leading over. Taking over, leading, directing something that was so critical to this nation's future and longevity. And that's why we are where we are today, because that guy who you just mentioned was the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning. who supported the current person who is the CEO of this critical piece of a public corporation. So when he can sit and this also this very person who's on the trip with the president sat on several shows that I watched myself, and he talked about how the electric meter was going in reverse and moving power back. And that is just a confirmation that you've got incompetent people who can't drive, don't have a driver's license, don't even know where they're going, and they're carrying everybody. And look where they brought us. They brought us into a place where in the abundance of electricity passing right through this country, and this country sits in darkness. So I believe once the president is faced with all of this, when his meeting starts in La Côte d'Ivoire this morning and goes out throughout the day, he will come firsthand to the reality of how we got to where we are. And he will have to make some serious decisions as to who stays and who goes. And I believe his first call back would be to chairman of the board, Tule, to say, look, I need this thing addressed. I need a solution on this. And maybe the next trip going back to La Côte d'Ivoire would be Councillor Tule along with his team to go and sit down and put together a better deal so that we can get power in here and turn this country back on and get this economy going to create jobs and attract foreign and diaspora investments into this country so that we can get rid of all of this darkness that's creating poverty, misery, and suffering and destroying Liberian businesses.
All right, so folks, you can now place in your calls, like I said previously, 077 665-699. That's the phone number that you can call this morning and be a part of the conversation. 0778 665-699 or 0880-561-644. 0880-561-644. My colleague asked the issue about okay, before I ask that question, let's take this caller here. Good morning. Yeah, your name, where joining us from? All right, just lower the receiver in the background so we can get you clearer.
Yeah, thank you for the conversation this morning. I've been with George, President George, and we are in the election. They decided to cut off the current from Africa to Liberia. It's a complete wickedness. So, if you think that you lost the election, that remain a foreign phone, not for the court time that the people to vote. I lost the election. It doesn't mean I don't want the current to be Liberia. It was very, very bad for the president. So, I did not block
Okay. Thank you so much. We'll stay taking your calls. 0778-665-699. Now take another person on this line quickly. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, brother.
Yeah, your name is joining us from?
This is Fabian Do from FP Singer.
Welcome, Fabian.
Yeah, brother, let me say thank you to the guest. I really admire you. But then I'm not understanding something yet. I didn't see a study other whole lot of money. And what we are noticing is when you buy the phone for the first time, for example, in March, when you recharge about 5, and I think it's 19 kilowatts, there's no why they can do that. They usually cut. So all the cut they can do with the first time you buy, then where the money goes.
Man, it's a tax.
Yeah, I think the LC as the brother said, beside the board, new management, they have the new management not doing well for our people because there's no stable electricity without high investor or in the country.
So Fabio,
don't want to pay taxes.
Fabio.
Yeah.
So there's a concern from the Liberians. I've gotten from one or two persons that when you recharge for this month, and the next 2-3 months you recharge, the following month when you recharge, they will call all the money.
All the 3 months money from there.
Yeah, but when you recharge for the first time in a month, they will cut. But then if you recharge for the second, third time, they will not cut. So for every month you recharge.
I'm saying like the way you have your cell phone, right? If you put credit in your phone today, You put credit on your phone for 2, 3, 4 months. The day you put credit, you say use it. People say when you put money in a meter for this month, and next month you put money, the following month you put money, they'll still call next month money from there.
Yeah, we don't have problem with it, but we need for them to pay the put money because that money is too much.
Okay, Fabio, thank you so much. We said let's take some course. Then we'll cross what and that's very interesting because a lot of Liberian experience
this money and terrorists.
Yeah,
especially on that thing that because someone asked me, Harris, they ready to ask the LEC people, and I was like, what is happening? And the person said, like, for instance, if you recharge a meter this month, Wakai, and next month you don't recharge, the following month you recharge, they will take next month money. You recharge next month, they will take the money from there.
Let's take this. Let's take this caller here quickly. Good morning.
Morning, how is it?
Yeah, your name is joining us from.
Yeah, I'm Arizona.
Welcome.
Yeah, I want to applaud the platform guests for FOC to mitigate all of the problems that are affecting our current. You know, the previous government didn't do well for our country. So all of the challenges the current government is facing, to overcome all of these problems. And I want to applaud the president for his visit to Africa. I hope his visit should be fruitful like this. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much for calling in, and that could be our final caller. Yeah, because and like you were saying, Mr. Phillips, this issue about tax paying, even though we know that it is good for the country, but at this point, a lot of Liberians have started raising eyebrow on the issue about. Not necessary at this point, but they keep crying on the issue about taxing, cutting tax from the token that you will buy from the LEC.
So let me just comment on this very quickly. So citizens don't have a problem paying taxes, okay? Because taxes is where everybody pays, so that the operation and of the government will be covered. The issue now becomes whether or not the economy is creating the jobs and people are making money so that they will pay the taxes. That's where the problem comes in. So in LEC, okay, on the other hand, the point the guys are making that everybody's complaining about, I hear it as well, is that there's not proper education in the media to educate the consumers as to what these charges are. So most people are shocked as to why these, I pay for $10, I put my money in, I'm expecting $10 of power, but then all of a sudden a deduct is done. So you haven't given me power for the past month or 2 months. You've taken power from me, but then when I finally get money to pay for my electricity, you take all my money. So to some degree, can we argue that is power theft? Okay, I mean, because people are, again, so one of the other issues that I never covered on this on the discussion is power theft. Power theft is a very serious issue, but it's a very serious issue not only from the consumer side, but also is LEC actually involved in power theft? Because if you're charging people money and you're not providing the services, but you're taking their money, that's power theft. That's power theft. So, I mean, I think you need to have a show so people can properly and effectively define what is power theft. Chasing people around the city for power theft, whereby you got people dressed up in suits sitting in the back of cars with air conditioning on, driving up and down, and they're the biggest power thieves. Can LEC management account for the money that the citizens paid for the 27 megawatts? So they involved in power theft, and yet and still they're chasing other people for $10 and $20. No. Something's wrong with that picture. Something is fundamentally wrong with that picture.
Okay.
So,
all right. Yeah. So we will have to wrap it up now because we are already run out of time. Thanks so much for coming in, Mr. Phillips. A bit on our opener. The discussion was good. and a lot of Liberians express interest in it. So before we take leave of the final message to President Boakai, any Liberian people are large listening to you this morning.
Well, all I want to say first and foremost to you, Harris, and to Borka, thank you so much for the opportunity to be on the program today. Punch FM is a great platform. I appreciate you guys so much. On the issue of President Borka, I commend the president first and foremost for appointing and selecting Councilor Tule as the new chairman of the board of directors for the Liberia Electricity Corporation. I pledge my support and commitment to supporting him and assisting him in any way, shape, or form that he chooses or accepts it, so that the transformational leadership can evolve, can come about at the LEC to move this country forward. And I believe that the president's trip today would be an eye-opener where he would get the facts. But most importantly, I will urge the president, strongly advise, suggest, and recommend that his decision, his choices, his policies on electricity will be the hallmark of his legacy. Let it be that it was under the Joseph Yuma Boaka's administration that we finally got electricity right and solved and addressed, and a solution came about that would bring about, transformation of biblical proportions all across this country. Let it be that Joseph Yuma Boaka solved this electricity problem once and for all, so that the transformation of this country can start with the energization of the LEC, the transformation of the LEC, so that this country can enjoy 24/7, 365 electricity. And I pray and I hope that on this trip and during this time, he would truly come to understand the importance of electricity and the business of energy, because energy is a business. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Okay.
Thanks so much for coming and sharing breakfast with us this morning. That's Mr. Ikinan Phillips, a policy advisor on energy and power. So we will take Jeremiah Benda. That will bring us the passion of live sports. And after that, Mr. Charles Yates is here, and he will be joining us. Mr. Charles Yates will be joining us to discuss. If you go away, you'll be missing out, because the conversation upcoming at right after sports is going to be very, very much interesting, and we hope to unpack a lot of things here on the Punch Breakfast Show. Let's now cross over to Mr. Jeremiah Benda to bring us the passion of live sport. Jerry, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Boaka, and good morning to our listener this morning on the Punch Breakfast Show. Welcome to the passion of life. Former Watanga FC hitman Augustine Otu says he's open to returning to the national team and will not hesitate to accept an invitation. Otu currently play in Egyptian second league for the Tassana FC, has been in great form. The former Nima United and LPRC other striker has scored 11 goals in 14 matches this season for the Tassana, putting the club in a position for promotion. Lone Star coach Mario Maranica is currently monitoring Liberian players across the globe as the country gets prepared to face Djibouti in the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations preliminary qualifiers. Newly constructed D12 Sport Page have been granted as the home ground of Newtown-based Global Pharma. The Global Pharma will begin using the Sport Page this Thursday when they play host in Mighty Barrow in Tehran of the Orange Cup at 4 p.m. D12 on several minimum pages constructed during the administration of soccer legend George Weah. Meanwhile, defending champion Leicester FC will travel to SKD Pride Page to take on Pinsville FC. Having recently defeated the Shipping Boys in the league, Pinsville are hoping to add more warmth in a match that is expected to draw crowd this afternoon at 4 p.m. In the 1:30 kickoff at the SKD, Jubilee will host Discovery in all second division affairs. Invisible 11 will host GM Profession at the Anthony Todman Stadium at 4 p.m. The fate of Liberia Electric expected to participate in the All-African Games in Ghana remains in limbo as the delegation is yet to depart Liberia. The Liberia National Olympic Committee said there is no money up to now to fly the athletics. The Liberia National Olympic Committee, Chief of Mission of the game, Malcolm Joseph, has since the government was informed about the game. The required form is yet to be made available. A total of 21 athletes from Liberia is expected to complete in boxing, taekwondo, table tennis, and athletics. However, the table tennis athletics are in Ghana, according to the Liberia National Olympics Committee. The game will officially commence on March 8th of this year. That's it for our Sport Dex. It's back to Ibrahim Kamara for the continuation of the Punch Breakfast Show.
Okay, many thanks to Mr. Jeremiah Bender for bringing us the Passion of Life Sports here on the Punch Breakfast Show. It's a regular feature here on this show. It comes on at 9 o'clock. So good morning, good afternoon. We stay here bringing you breakfast this morning. And coming up shortly, Mr. Charles Years will be here to talk to us and bring us, just have a conversation surrounding national issues. Mr. Years, the man has volunteered to be one of our regular panelists here on the Punch Breakfast Show, and we do appreciate him. He's a big brother in the media, and he have a vast knowledge on things that are happening in our country. So Mr. Charles Years is sometimes he appears like a political commentator, sometimes he appears like a journalist, sometimes he appears. So he have vast knowledge on a lot of issues making news in our country. So Harris, Mr. Years is here with us this morning to share breakfast.
Yes, of course, Waka, and we hope to have a very, very wonderful conversation, especially within this short space. A lot of things have come out. The last time we spoke specifically on 10 new position. I think the conversation has gravitated from 10 new position now to, it is more than just being 10 new position. So this morning, I'm convinced I will have a very, very wonderful conversation.
Okay, so it's good to have him here now with us, Mr. Yes. Good morning and welcome to the show. This is your home. So
good morning, gentlemen. It's good to be back home. Good morning, gentlemen.
Right. So, what range of issues? I have seen a lot of posts from you lately when it comes to the issue, most especially. Let's start with security. How do you see the new RG of the Liberia National Police?
Oh, okay, great. That's a great concern. We have been following the theory of Gregory Coleman. Before this government came to power, he served as Inspector General Police. And we were very fortunate to be close to the police at that time because we were covering the police. So there's nothing strange that Greg is doing that I'm not anticipating, honestly. Because I know he comes with a lot of reform. That's the kind of gentleman he is. When Greg the authority to serve, I mean, he's a go-getter. That's the kind of man he is. So I'm not surprised. And the good thing about it, the caliber of his team, the deputies, the officers on the street, the patrolmen, the traffic people, I mean, they are just top notch. If you go to Douala this morning, they started since last week, you would drive through Douala or getting stuck up in the traffic. When I spoke to you, I was staying home in Broadway. It took me less than 1 hour to get here before, but now I still battling Douala traffic.
Some are saying they're trying to impress Liberian at the beginning stage, so that's why they are doing all of these things.
I don't think this is an impression because what they are doing in that area, that's something that will go long. They are erecting what you call something like a return wall. If you drive on the Ralphie Highway, see those payloads they have on the road?
Yeah.
Okay, now if you go to Douala Market, they have those payloads that push the marketeers back.
Okay,
so they expand the road and then they put a blockade. So the marketeers cannot come across the payloads. So the road is now open and vehicles are allowed to go through freely. And then they also did a detour. If you're coming from the Broadway, you cannot come to Beer Factory Momotown Way. You cannot use that route. So if you're coming from Broadway, you have to go straight into the market and take a detour.
Yeah, I know that.
So if you're coming from Douala side, you have to use the Momotown. So you are not interfering with each other.
Okay.
It's like one way going, one way coming.
Okay.
So you have able to stabilize the traffic movement over there. Even on Saturday, you will surprise you, Boga. If you go to Douala on Saturday, you just drive through. It's unprecedented.
It's a news to me, Boga.
It's unprecedented. I never believed it until I saw it.
And I will take a time off perhaps this Saturday to visit that, because when we spoke with you this morning, and now you confirming that you are still home.
You are still, yes, he told me. He said I'm across. That's what he told me.
Surprise to me. I'm saying it is a complete surprise to me. I know Douala. I know the situation. I'm saying it's like for most of us, but this is it. I mean, you appear to be so much confidence that Gregory will do more than what he's doing at the LMP.
Yeah, and with the support, once he has the support, I think he will do more. But this is what I told the Inspector General yesterday. It's good that he confirmed that they are working on it. They had a signboard to the Boulevard Junction. They erected a mini checkpoint, and then they had the inscription: "Do not bribe the police."
That
is not just all. If you say "Do not bribe the police," you should also upgrade the police and give them something good as salary. Chief, and it should come on time. Because one thing, I'm not encouraging bribery. Those officers have family. If you put them on the street from morning to night, that take who pay should come on time, and it should be something good. I mean, once you encourage the police, you give them that good package. I don't think they will. It will be minimized. Because this is in Liberia. This is all over across the broad sector. Not just the police. You will find bribery everywhere, even in the church. So once you can upgrade a salary to something good and it's coming on time, I think we can minimize it. But if you just go and put some kind of writing on the wall, do not bribe the police. Trust me, if for yourself.
Another point is that Boakai quickly is the performances, I mean, of the police officers, right? Police personnel. It will interest you to know that there are a lot of them within the Fox. Why it's true have some of them with moral characters. There are some of them. They are very, very reckless. And if we want to use it right for irresponsible in terms of the way they respond, the way they react to the very citizens that they should be protected. I mean, it presents a whole challenge as well for Gregory. How can he transform the minds of those persons that despite you carry the flair of Liberia, but you too have to be in as much as moderate how you deal with those who come.
Yeah, you see, the police will have to focus on manpower development, okay? And then the professionals stand at the Liberia National Police, they need to beef up their own strength to see how best they can transform those guys in the blue, okay? And the morale of the police, the director of the police and the entire government, they need to boost the morale of the police. You need to be changing the police uniform, at least on a regular basis. Maybe each officer should have 2 suits. If you cannot do it 3 months, at least 2 suits. I mean, you can wear a uniform today, tomorrow you come again. That's not, no, trust me. They should have some option. If I wear the suit today, tomorrow I should be able to wash the suit, put it out there on the sun, and wear the new one. If the police are truly, looking decent, the way the public will engage them, they will be there. Man, if you see some of the police officers back, even when they start the car, they may not like a so go to you. Go to Bannerville Junction, see some of the officers. You see them, the man is drunk, his uniform. Sometimes I'm even confused whether they are police officers or they are police airport. There's a guy at the bit of Cardwell Bridge. Those who travel on that road, you see, you're always there. I don't know. I don't think that guy's a police officer, but he's in a police uniform, he wear a mask. He got some walking, talking on his side. And he just all in the traffic every day. You hear nobody get business. He will not talk to anybody. But he's just there. He loved the job so much. He will be on the sun, on the ring in that one uniform. For the past 3 years, that guy keep wearing that one uniform. And the officers will just be sitting on the sidewalk and using that guy. I don't know whether he's mentally okay, sir. But this is the man that the people use. The officers are sitting on the sidewalk in a uniform, clean, and this guy is just moving up and down traffic. The police need to boost their own morale and their integrity. I mean, you travel to some country, when you see policemen, you're scared. You see policemen, you're scared. You be thinking that the guy, man, when the guy arrests me, my own finish. When you come to our country, man, you be drinking liquor in the car. Officer see you, hey, one star you get there, one my own. Police and officers and people having that.
I have experience.
You see, I'm drinking. I'm the one star.
Most especially at night, the night hour when you come in, brother.
Somebody have experience. I mean, I won't bother to get there. Give me one too now. I mean, so people are not even afraid to drink while they are driving. You got like brother, there's nothing about that. I think Greg need to come in small on that level.
You have said a lot of nice things about the police, but the same police honor the stewardship of Gregory Coleman, gone down few citizens just recently in county, and a lot of opposition are beginning to raise eyebrow that there is a partisan police because just taking over and then going down our citizens in Cape Mount County. There is need.
Cape Mount is so dear to my heart, and I can tell you this for free. I have been investigating this issue, and what we really gather, there was some exchange of bullet between the protester and the police, and I think we need to re-examine how people carry people issue firearm in this country, and most especially Liberian citizens who are having the Guinea made pistols. All right, every protest that will go in this country, especially in the Money Belt, I don't know how the guys obtained those Guinea-made pistols. An officer was shot at. He's in a JFK. The bullet is staying in your head.
No. I come in. Let me hold you there. I come in, Charles. The difference between the Guinea-made pistol and regular pistol is that the Guinea-made pistol is something like a single barrel. Yeah. When it shoot, they spray, right? And we haven't noticed. If you're saying that there's a police officer,
9 officers,
there's a police officer at the JFK. The wounds should be something that, because when that thing touches you, it spread around you. So what are you talking about? Is it what they experience or what?
Chief, when you discharge that Guinea-made pistol, it don't just spread when you leave the chamber right away. You have to go certain distance, then open up. That's how it spread. If in close range, it will not spread. But once that riot, I know it was not face-to-face combat. Once the man discharge that gun, when you leave certain distance, then they open up. That's how it operates.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not something that close range, like the lethal weapon the police carry. That's what the police needs to do. I think they should focus more on non-lethal weapons in that discharge when it comes to protest. You see, the police needs to carry tear gas. In the case of electronic battle, but the main fight that they're using lethal weapons, it makes it more dangerous for the police. Because when the police is under threat, and the security man for that matter, someone who is carrying arm, when they're under threat and the threat is overwhelming them, chief, if the man has weapon, he will use the weapon.
He'll release it.
That's the last option. Once the threat is overwhelming, the man will use the last resort, and that is the weapon. So you need to have multiples of materials of non-lethal stuff. The pepper spray alone, it make all that men lay down there. Because the police have the gear for the pepper spray. So once the riot police are using that riot gear, they are protected. So when the crowd is approaching you, the protector, and when they are overwhelming you, you get the pepper spray. And you will overpower them. You can use the electronic battle to overpower or reduce some of the threat. But to reach a level where the police will have to go down for the weapon, that is bad. So the police need to invest more into the non-lethal weapons when they can carry it during riots.
So what are you sensing about the Cape Mount incident? Was there people were people there and then attacked the police and the police retaliated on them and then we got to where we are today, or what?
You see, we raised this alarm when President Weah was in office. That when the AFL were deployed in Cape Mount, we raised the alarm that you cannot put the military hostile against their own people. We raised the alarm, and the chief of staff at the time, President Johnson, came after me on that. He and myself were on Facebook back and forth on it. And we were protecting some dangerous chemical at B Mountain. You don't need the military to protect those dangerous chemicals once they are in the warehouse. You can use the police. The confidence and the mineral development agreement, the company has the right to hire private security firm. Okay, they themselves can provide their own security firm. They can ask the government for security if the threat is overwhelming. Okay, it's part of the development, the mineral development agreement. But to put the military officer, my man, anytime you see a man officer, whether he get gun or not, that fear. Imagine when we used to play football game this place. Once they put the EFL outside, you will notice that the atmosphere at SKD will be different. The way people will compose and stuff.
Yeah.
The first time I mean like EFL people will put outside.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to when you put the EFL outside, it shows different pictures. The EFL go outside when they're going to fight war.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go outside for peace. The EFL is not a peacekeeping force. You saw what happened to West Point during the Ebola.
Yeah.
When the president said at the time send the EFL, brought the EFL outside, you saw casualty took place in West Point. The people, they are not peacekeepers. They don't know how to pet people. They are combatants. When they go outside, they go do fighting, they go play. So when you put the people outside, you send fear in the community. The community came together, they had a statement. They told the company, please, we'll remove the army. You know, we feel threatened when we see the people carrying weapons around in our community. They said no. So I think the lawmaker in that place, one Mohammed Dossier, organized the people, the community, and they decided to have a protest. But this has been boiling. They protest this start George and Ono Boaka. They protest it started way beyond, way beyond. The people have started agitating small for some benefit. Mommy, if you go to B Mountain, you see the way the people are living in that place. Boaka, you'll cry. The last time I was about to give you a story on B Mountain. B Mountain has 2 canteens in B Mountain. What people can eat. They got the Turkish, the white people canteen, and they got the Liberian workers canteen. When I went to B Mountain, the first day I went to B Mountain, we went to the Turkish canteen for breakfast. And the one they had a second canteen. So I was impressed. I told my coach, I said, but the guys are enjoying it. They can play what AC, my man. They are different kinds of meal.
Yeah.
You know, you eat the one, if you don't want the one, you go to the one, they got juices. So I really felt that was the general canteen for all the workforce. And so I was impressed. But Boaka, when we went for after our tour, at 2 o'clock, they said, Jeremy, you gotta go for lunch. But this time around, you have to go and eat Liberian food in a Liberian canteen. So I was like, there's another canteen. They said, yes. So I was now to go see the Liberian canteen because they got cassava, they got potato green, all our traditional Liberian food. And they call the wallow, and I love the wallow from Cape Man. So I said, oh yeah, long time I've not eaten wallow. So me, I'm going to the Liberian restaurant. That was disaster. So the central person is better off.
You want to say
wow.
You don't want to go to that place. You will feel so nasty about yourself. We went to that place. I couldn't stand it. The heat. No fear. The people are drinking from ordinary plastic water. Then the worst of all, when your friends eat from the plastic plate, because the workforce is very used, you have to wait. When they make me eating, they play.
No, man, Charlie, you can't be saying that.
No, you can't be saying you have to web the plate, my man.
No, Charlie, man.
All fairness to my righteous God, that broke me down. That I got different picture about B Mountain. You have to web the plate or you wash the plate and go back. Eating under that kind of condition, they eat. They don't have faith in good drinking water. I mean, when I saw that,
and this has been happening for years.
I refused to eat that day to have lunch. And I went to Daba Ali, the black manager. I said, this is unfair. You cannot treat your own people like this. And then why you also have to stop at this time from going to the place we ate this morning? They said because the Turkish are coming out for lunch and the black people cannot mix with them.
Look at that.
That was racism to the highest.
You mean the black manager said that?
The black Daba Ali, the black manager said right now, because when we went there in the morning, no one were there. They got to go on the man. So we went there, still a journalist. So they allowed in, and we really thought that how the living condition was on the place. When we ate to that place that morning, I had a different picture with other people that are enjoying it. But when I came back for lunch and I went to the black restaurant and I saw the way the guy over there, my man, so central person is way better. And the guy was saying, Chief, this is our normal dating, every dating here. This is where we eat. Sometimes you need to get drinking water, it can be hard.
Wow.
But guess what? The Turkish guy are drinking mineral water from bottle. And the Liberian worker are drinking plastic water. I'm thinking this is a place where millions of people are moving from every year.
I'm thinking if that can happen at the level of the meal aspect. I'm thinking on the job itself, the kind of treatment they're going to receive.
Then you go into B Mountain. B Mountain, they have two kinds of money. They got the underground money and they got the open pit money. I mean, if Liberia is not careful, we're experiencing a wet of earthquake in Grand Cape County. The underground money, the underground pit, the tunnel, you can drive under the underground tunnel from years. This place all the way to Broad Street.
Wow.
With every moving equipment. That's
driving that distance.
Underground from here to Broad Street.
Chasing the goal.
Yeah, and you can move. They are moving on there with every moving equipment. So anything up there, anytime God forbid in the future, because there's a big hole under there. So what they're doing now, they are talking to the communities people to relocate. Then they have the open pit. The open pit is twice the size of SKD. Where when you stay and you see the hole, you can pull palm tree inside 2 times and you'll not see the top. So I asked Daba Ali, what will become of this open pit after your concession, after you finish mining? They said we will remain open until nature can have it closed. Trust me, you know how many years you're talking about. So somebody go in that place there to go do one thing or go do something and they fall in that. Lake. That's why they are envisioning that it will turn to a man-made lake in the future. Chief Cape Mine is on the town bomb. And just why nobody talking about it. Our government feel comfortable about this. Our government officials go there and they feel comfortable about it. That's the kind of life our people are living.
Because they are getting kickbacks now. So
and the worst of all is that the country is not developed.
And that's the thing.
With all that racks the guys are putting up and dumping them. The road to Rawa School is not paved. The road to Big Mountain is not paved. The road from the quarter to go inside Big Mountain is not paved.
It shows that the people had a justifiable cause for protesting.
It's too painful. And what I said, the people started agitating. The situation in B Mountain is like the EFL widow and the EFL wife and the EFL. That signed an MOU that they cannot protest. They coerce the workers to sign that agreement
that the
workers can protest. So now the workers are using that family who are in the communities. So those who are having the protest were residents of the communities, not workers. So if I'm a worker of B Mountain, I cannot protest. I go tell my brother who is not working. I mean, you gotta go outside, you gotta go call them for us. So those people that you saw protesting, they represented the workers. It is serious in that place. It is serious. And the government needs to have some focus on B Mountain.
Let's look at before we transition from the Bear Mountain conversation. What's the lesson now that the government the government as a whole learned from this whole Bear Mountain situation that they can work on or improve on so that we prevent further disaster from happening?
We need to have a conversation with the people. With all parties. We need to have a conversation with the people. Government should not just look at what they can get in terms of revenue and other stuff, but they should look at the concern of the community. The community have been raising legitimate concern. They want schools for their children. They want good medical facility for their children. Is it too high? I mean, do you know how B Mountain transport that go? They use helicopter from B Mountain. B Mountain has an airstrip, a mini airstrip. Who is checking them? Are they accountable to the Liberian government? Who is checking? What are they taking out of Cape Mount? Is it when they go? Look at my man. They may bring a helicopter. He pack it over there. They load it. They may fire back. Nobody know what will go in a helicopter. You don't tell me say all the money they put in there, they're not singing Damo. Come here. That's possible. The cyanide they're using there is one of the most dangerous chemicals you can find anywhere on planet Earth. Other countries have banned cyanide, but it's been used in Cape Mount. They have destroyed most of the trees in the community. Because you know where they dump it, all the trees will die. That's how dangerous the cyanide is. And where they've been dumping the cyanide is almost like the river behind Ala Lagoon. It's at an open river, where they're dumping the waste. And at that side, there is no living thing there. No living thing. All the trees perish. And guess what? It's affecting the underground water. So, and the people are not drinking bottled water.
Yeah.
The communities are drinking pump water. And from that, the underground water will affect the pump water. The very hand pump for the people. If you're dumping something on the ground and you have a hand pump, trust me, there will be a trace.
Yeah, there are traces of it, of course.
Yeah, guys, we need to transition to something, another more important topic on our discussion. The president, prior to the signing in of the executive order number 126 on asset declaration, number 125 suspend the importation of tariff on the importation of rice. This news, a lot of Liberians should be welcoming this news because but let's not forget George Weah did it when he took over, and Joe Boakai is doing it now. Let's look at it from your own perspective. How do you see the, and also 126, the fight against the issue of asset declaration, asset recovery,
asset recovery. And that was a major.
We can leave out. We can leave out that.
The asset recovery thing, and that's the one I have so much interest in. And once we leave this station, the team of Liberian investigative journalists will be in a major press conference today. And we are welcoming this decision from the president. And as media people and as investigative journalists, we are going to be very supportive. We are going to give the government some tip off on people who have hidden properties across West Africa and the sub-region. We know some of those properties where they are located and will help in the process. People must account. Trust me. We went to Ghana, we know what we saw there. People must account. I mean, overnight, why would somebody to and then take money from the bad property in Ghana?
They've been working.
It says yes. You buy the bad property in
Ghana. They've been receiving salaries though, so we can rule that out.
That's the reason they have to show how much they were making. You have to look at the men take home pay and see what they can call, because I'm just in Ghana. He has a house. He has a house in Marshall. He has one in Cinco. With the Samoa Woloka, they have the government resources to build all of the property around this country. There are people that got rich overnight. Those people must account. They must get receipts. How to build those property. We will help the government.
People say you may start witch hunting.
Chief, it's not about witch hunting.
Yeah, because
we will need and shame people in this town. The government, when we went to Ghana, we were informed that certain information they couldn't provide to us except our government made a request. So that will be fine. We'll work with the team, and the team will make the request, and the Ghanaian authority will provide certain information to the government of Liberia. On the list of Liberian officials have bought property. Some of them bought penthouses. Penthouses that they're paying thousands of dollars for every year.
In Ghana.
They go there for weekend. George Weah been having a house in Ghana, so you can say George Weah.
Why are you so much on the DC government?
For me,
because
if they elect, go back to Ellen. If Baga wants to be serious about this as a president, I think he should take it back to two regimes. If you don't want to go for Ellen first term in 2005, take it for second term in 2011. Drag it from there all the way to 2022. 23.
It may implicate some officials now that are
current officials
because they have to be holistic, they have to be transparent. So now we want to get the whole notion of witch hunt. So if you want to get rid of that notion of witch hunting, the weird people, then you must go to a administration back in the area. Even the Boakai said, what's a vice president? His regime. They should go back to it.
Let's look
then you give a picture like here. It is not about which one, but everything cannot be about the we are feature.
Let's look at the issue about the asset recovery thing. Is not strange in our governance structure. I can record sometimes of 2018, 2019, when President George Weah at the time felt the need to establish the asset recovery investigation and restitution team. But then, and Councillor Arthur Johnson was charged with the responsibility as chairman of that team to ensure that they restore all of government assets and properties. I mean, it is important to consider that Councillor Arthur Johnson in 2020, during his resignation, stated that he would have thought that the fight against corruption in the country would have been achieved, but that was illusion, evidenced by the lack of the political will from the president, the executive, in ensuring that the team effectively functioned, especially when the president starts to realize that some of his confidants were already dragged into the situation. And
but the president himself
a prisoner situation now with the Joe Barker government, we are considering that despite the president has this vision and showing that all of what have been illegally taken from government is being restored. We are looking at the political will of it because there will come a time that when some of the president's confidants have been dragged into the situation.
Barker is under immense pressure to achieve some of these things that he want to achieve. You see, with the asset recovery thing, for me, I knew that George Weah was never serious about it. Because the first person who was caught in the cookies jar was George Weah. He never expected Weah to even push it further. But with this, Barker has not even gone through the first 100 days. And now he's pushing for this. And if you see the level of speed that he's pushing for this, they tell you that he's serious about it. Like I told you last time, Barker is the best person to transform this country. The only player I will feel disappointed when they have a picture of Washington, a particular administration, go after everybody across the board who here will be caught in the cookies jar. I mean, somebody put in a story on the Ellen. They are back in the government. Yeah, Barker be fair too now.
Yeah.
Somebody put story on the Ellen administration, and they are back in serious government positions. We need to start from there. But the job we have people, Liberia Prime not today. Liberia Prime is not on we are. Liberia Prime is older than all our in the studio. So if we want to fight it, we can start from the genesis. You can't even small, but it shouldn't be from now. And you're not sending a good picture. So the next government to our country, they say, yeah, deal with the Barker people. Because when they left, they dealt with weird people. So we cannot be having a country like this. It will be continuing with wish hunting each other. So you have to do it, you have to be holistic. You have to start from a regime where Barker himself was part of. I mean, there's some people that can reach out overnight, we know them.
The thing that can you know, embarrass the entire process, you know, for instance,
you I forget, you made the rest thing, the tariffs on rest. Just say something, Chief. Rest is our stable food. We cannot entrust it into the foreigners' hand. The solution for the thing, Chief, it's not for people importing rest in the country. So it cannot be a stable food that you're importing it. You should grow it. When something is a stable food, grow it. It be in your backyard. Like even when you buy around, someone say you taste small red, you put it in the mother, you beat it. Stable food. But you get me waiting for one the only mental say, my man, our vessel not really yet, then we got shortage. It can reach to a point where the Lebanese people, the business people, they put their cooks. Sometimes they can do artificial shortage because they want to hike the price. Also, that's a security commodity. You can say rest is our stable food, then we'll be depending on SWAT, UCR to supply our stable food. John Weah, he thought he could curtail that bringing proper rest. And that was a disaster. He brought that rest one time, and that was the end. So you can politicize rest business because I think that no more thing. That bring make eat anything, but if you don't eat rest, it's my man eat. So that's how important we attach to rest. So importing rest, the legacy you can tell the people say you're bringing free, don't pay taxes. It would not be the solution. Chief, yeah, Joseph Barker talking about farm, you got agriculture man. The Ministry of Agriculture not to get involved. FPMC then. What you call Lagra, they need to get involved. They will grow our own food in this country. I mean, we get wasted land in the place. You go there, nothing there. We're not even making farm again in Liberia. I don't know why. In the past, government used to distribute rest seeds to people. People not be living from where a low panel come or come back 25 I call that bag of rest. That's short. When the men get what's seeding for those days, my man, I left my don't mind the pack of rest in the city. The Bible call it the Bonue. They will pack that rest in that city for rainy season. The whole dry season will be operating directly from the farm. Then they will store the rainy season food in the city. That rest are going in the city now. 6 months are going there for. I don't know how the old man need to arrange that thing, but at 6 months, when the rain is coming, and then we have to go back to do refarming, and that rest will be eating. It have two bundle, one bundle will take it down every evening. They beat it, they sit the fan on it, they cook it. That was going on for years.
Can we get back there?
We need to go back there.
Do you think we can?
We can get there.
Mm.
We can get there. I mean, it's just about the political will again. I mean, I'm going for President Baka tell all the ministers, every minister in the country must make farm. Make it a mandate. Just make it a mandate. Because they get agriculture break. You know all along because they hold they say we agriculture break. Where you go? The Ghana agriculture break. If you say that people take agriculture break, they be by mandate that you go back to your country and put a farm there. All the ministers, you tell them. I mean, sometimes you say, oh, the men want to be a dictator. But it be a standing rule. If you want to work in my government, go make farm.
We will be the same people saying that they are using government money to establish that, to make their own farm.
To make a sour farm.
That money though.
Government, I mean, it is simple. Agriculture ministry, government can bring the Red Sea. They can get it. You bring the Red Sea, you distribute the Red Sea. You give it to the local farmers, you give it to government officials, and tell them, Chief, you made a farm. You got to put a farm on display. You ain't made something and farm there, you make a real farm. I mean, some of the money about taking you to build properties around here to buy land, go make farm.
like snow.
If you don't have a farm, yes. See people that snow there. If you don't have a farm, you can't work in my government. Because you want to look at the government. People will be taking a family here to do recreation. Say, my man, can I go Ghana? You go spend the holiday. Go on your farm. Go enjoy the place. Go take one goat and eat your food. Cook cassava leaf. Tell the children get. I mean, those days our parents to take us back to our counties on vacation. We are losing all of our traditions. How many families carrying their children back in the interior again? We are disconnected from our culture. And people are doing those things because they have things there. Uncle have pig farm. We are going to Christmas day, we have a kill pig. So people were happy to go home. I mean, going to go junior farm, I know they will kill pig Christmas day, they will kill cow. So you make the thing attractive. So people say, man, they weekend, man, what are we doing? You go low fiber. And now low fiber get good road. You leave on your Friday, you reach, if the road is paved, you reach the same day.
Yeah.
You're bored. Sunday evening, you have to come back. So they give people that the encouragement to go home and do something. But everybody in Moreover, at the end of the day, the Zogo and plenty because nothing to
let's transition
let's transition of Buckeye before we get to another point. The war crime school, which of course we'll close up on. I want us to be very analytical this morning, especially with the President Buckeye. I think there is a serious attention being placed on his leadership because, mind you, the president had informed Liberians that he has a fixed 100 days deliverables. The last time I checked, I think we're gone 54. I'm gonna say we left with 52, 53 more days to go. To achieve the president's 100 days deliverables. I mean, it is important to establish this morning the conversation as to, from the look of things, Mr. Yates. I mean, what's your prediction like for the president 100 days deliverables?
I think there will be some stickers issues. We'll be fair. I said last time the president have overwhelmed himself with all the extra activities, then focusing on 100 days deliverables. I mean, even the formation of the government is delaying so much. And to achieve that, you need to have the government in place. I mean, look at information ministry. The government is not completed there. You go to other ministries, it's not completed. So how do we achieve? How do we meet the achievement? Why is it delay? Are you telling me that President Baka do not have people? Even when he decided to run for president, so he never had a dominant government to say, okay, when I become president tomorrow, I know they may go into the place, they may go into it. He never had everything is scarce. Why the delay? You thought you focus more on the delays overwhelming until the deliverables are delaying. Okay? Because if you will be focusing on, take for example, now we're doing all it now. Different debate there. That was a distraction. The other person putting blame on the other person, the other person trying to put blame on the person. Then we have the asset recovery again. That's another debate. Then we have the 10 new people, another debate. When we'll start seeing F moving equipment on the roads. One of the major things President Braga promised us, say no car will get stuck up in 100 days. Chief, the rain coming. The rain coming. And the rain are coming, they're not play rain. You can't wait for the rain before you start to say you want to do intervention. To do intervention, it is the time now. But now people should be on the roads, wasting gravel, clearing the road. But nothing of such happening. Probably where people stay relaxing. They are not out there. They are waiting for the rain. They are in March. April, we start showing a fake Google. So when do you work? I think we got about 50 days or
50, 54, 55 days left.
That's about 1 month, maybe 1.5 months. So it will reach, the rainy season will be hitting as we close up on the 100 days. Are you going to tell me that car will not get stuck in the mud? What is the current condition of the road in the southeast? What's the current condition of the road in Lofa County Road between Zoso and Wunderman? That's the terrible part of the whole entire Lofa Road. Between Zoso and Wunderman, that road is bad. Small rain, I play Chakra. People have to pass through several. You go to the southeast, people passing through Aricos. I President Boakai going to Aricos today. Is it riding car or going by plane?
Plane.
I think you should drive to see the road condition. That would have been a good observation movement for him. Drive through Locato. Sometimes I'm Aricos right here. Everything our government people will be. Sometimes you just drive to see how your people are living outside there. I mean, German, Liberia, it's not Monrovia. Sometimes we are overwhelmed by activities in Monrovia. But if you want to see real life, go outside Monrovia. If you want to see real life, go outside Monrovia.
Charlie, we need to go to the phone lines. Let's talk about the War Crimes Court. A lot of people are becoming better since the lower house concur. You know, they are now accepted to establish the War Economics Crown Court in Liberia. We have seen a lot of people becoming better. We saw Yaya Nimne, we saw Prince Johnson, and others. The issue about the establishment of the War Economics Crown Court in Liberia is taking shape gradually. And now the lower house already done with it. They have now sent it to the upper house. Do you see it surviving?
Yeah, it will survive. With the level of leadership at the legislature, it will survive.
The upper house, there are a lot of people who are already entangled. We have people that committed economic crime here in our country,
and the majority. It will go on the floor. It will be voted upon. Let me tell you something. I spoke to the current speaker about this thing. He said when the last government, that stuff never came on the floor. Every time they attempted to bring it on the floor, Bobo Chima will kill it. Every time they attempted,
but the lawmaker voted for it in favor in the lower house. It was 51 votes.
It was sent to committee room. I got you that it was sent to committee room. Like this one that was immediately passed.
That way, that natural death. It was sent to committee room and I went left until this government took over. With the speed, this thing will come to pass. It's just a matter of time. I mean, see how the Americans are interested in it. The speaker is very, he's on top of the thing there. My man, this will be one of my legacy projects. We have to do this. We have to account. People want to do things for their own side tomorrow. Because tomorrow history got to reminding you. You think Boakai knows exactly what he's doing? You see Prince Johnny crying around now that Boakai don't pick up a call anymore. Because he reached to a point where Boakai will have to take a decision. So by Prince Johnny call, that's a green light. Come here.
You like it or not?
Like it or not, now we gotta go for the thing. They want no.
It's about Liberian people.
Let's look at the first thing. They don't want to encourage any discussion between Prince Johnson again. I can't catch all discussion. Then you'll be weak. So first he said, "My man, me play that man. Me know that man for some time. Yeah, when me get this thing done, then we'll talk later on. That is the way they playing right now."
And also the conversation has been that why it's true that Liberians welcomed the establishment of War Economic Crimes Court in this country. But we got to consider in the TRC recommendations that if the court will be established, I also think that other recommendations contain the TRC. You want to talk about the restitution. You want to talk about the lives of victims, the survivors of the Civil War that the government will have to have a program to have them benefits as well. So already the Liberian government is challenged. So another side of the conversation that why if the code will be established, it is equally important the government consider in terms of the
government. The government is just the host, but the government is not the one producing the resources for this code. The money already also laying now. The people just need the approval and they start running with this stuff. That's a $100 million project you're talking about here. It's laying out somewhere waiting for our government to okay this. None of money where they come to constrain us. We don't have the resources for that. If it was just about Liberia and like putting this, my man, there will be no war plan. We don't have the resources for that. But you know how many witnesses will be coming to testify? So many people there, you have to relocate them after they finish testifying. Because look, somebody warned us and they got people here. For me, if you ask me for my opinion on this matter, the question being Liberia. That's my point. We don't have the security for this school. Anyhow you look at it, I don't know why people want to, play blind eyes to this. So the other thing can also Liberian people benefit. Chief, it is a high security risk. I'm speaking from a security point of view. It is a high security risk to have that post hosted in Liberia. Why you want to carry the deal? Why you want the jail
beach?
No, face reality. Which person you want to keep Nimle in? Which person you want to keep George Bullet in? All of these ex-generals around here running do there. Which person born naked? Which person there? You can't hold them in Liberia. You think why they put talk charges on Sierra Leone? Because Sierra Leone is very close to Liberia.
Yeah.
And Taylor said, I learned this year. Somebody would that guy one day and say, Mama, we're free the paper. I mean, like reality. Yeah.
So to the time,
people are waiting to die for Taylor. You just look at the poor and bola point here. You just look at that play when they call free and say, John, I think too much now. You go for the paper. So you keep him in a Prince Johnson, yeah. It's a high security risk. I mean, the people now taking people from here to go testify, way to the Hague. It was very simple. Get the people and let them go to host them, they'll take care of them. Then they do the same with this. Carry the men to Ghana. Find a venue. Find a venue where you can carry these guys and you can keep them there for the time of the sentence. For keeping them in Liberia, for me, it's my fear.
Okay, let's take calls this morning. Let's take call this morning. 0778 665 699 0778 665 699 0880 561 644 0880 561 644. We're taking your calls this morning. We have Charles Yates here with us this morning. Let's take this caller here quickly. Good morning, welcome. Your name is joining us from?
Yeah, good morning, brother. It's Fabio Do.
Welcome, Fabio.
Yeah, let me say thank you to this. I want to speak on the issue I have to do with the Blue Mountain. For me, the responsibility of this company of your country has to do with our lawmaker. This thing will cry, they will cry, and our lawmaker will do nothing. And what gets to me when there's a rally, what happens is came out, you see the former team, they go in there, acting up, they say they're sympathy with the people. Why the people are very quiet, and you are not settled their problem. So I think our Lord knows about the game.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let's take another person from this angle here. 077 that's 077 866 699. Let's take this person. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, gentlemen.
Your name is joining us from?
All right. My name is Brother Jeremiah Siawe. I joined the conversation this morning from district number 6.
Welcome.
All right. First of all, let me say bravo to the president for at least agreeing to it, and also bravo to the lower house. Now it is up to the upper house, and we are looking at them to see whether at the end of the day they will agree to it as well. For me, taking the quote from Liberia or thinking about where the people will be jailed, I understand. To jail the people in Liberia, it will cause. All right. And one thing we need to be very careful with is how people go about, engaging these people. Because, mind you, I listened to the senator from Grand Jida County. I listened to the interview you played this morning. And he said something that I look at critically. those people up to present, they still have people that believe in them. They still have people that are willing to knock their chest for them. And yesterday, I also listened to Senator Johnson interview on True FM. And he said from the very first day Allen White entered this country, he said those ex-generals have been having meetings, series of meetings. So it brought fear in my mind. So we need to be very careful how we go about doing this, or else we will see ourselves into different things. Somebody said we had a fragile peace. Nobody can argue that. Quite recently, you saw what happened in Grand Cape County. Police was firing, and according to the police, the surveillance, some of them had gone also.
Okay, all right.
So we need to be very careful, or else we see ourselves into different things in this country, my brother.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll take two more calls right here on the show. 0778665699. Call in and be live with us. Let's take this person. Good morning.
Yeah, brilliant. How are you?
Doing pretty well. And you might join us from?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Lawrence Spencer. I'm Johnson Road. Let me say good morning to Charlie. I met Charlie a long time.
Cool, what's up?
Yeah, brother. Honestly, I just wanted to follow about my brother who traveled the land fronted me to call. The other party say they got people who believe in them. I mean, if Charlie can be locked up today, who have followers in the country as compared to Charlie there?
But not in Liberia, though.
Yeah, but not in Liberia, though. Not even around Liberia, Charlie is locked up. That's a problem, though.
You are locked up for crime committed in Haiti or wherever, my brother. And the Israel for carrying people to account for their crime and followers say that what we discuss it. So what people on support them like we're going around taking innocent people because they now go Latin up for crime committed somewhere. So for me, that's my argument. So the thing we shouldn't be pinpointing people who committed mayhem in our country with the false bravery presenting that something will happen here. But man, you think we're above the law. Nobody above the law.
Okay.
Can be the number one powerful message when you do what is wrong and when time comes for you to account, nothing will happen here.
All right, thank you so much. We take one more call, then we cross over to Charlie. Let's take somebody from this line, 077-866-5699. Let's take this person. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah.
My name is Alexander Coleman, and I call you from Painesville this morning.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, bro. First of all, I just want to say thank you to Charles. He has spoken well. He's one big friend who I admire ever so long. His thing he talked during the church and that stuff. I felt that he was just a united guy. He was not a journalist, but his thing this morning made me to get more love and respect for him. Now, quickly to the issue. Charles, the issue in York County, I just want to take this PF issue to be something down to your chest, because this is where you come from. You have ever so long for so many folks. Iraqi, they determine that you take your right to your doorstep. So you need to speak out for those people who you think have been handled badly in that place. Because those people, the condition that they go under every day is something bad that one person cannot stand and see. So I'm going to appeal to you that you take your thing to their doorstep so that those people can have the necessary benefit that they need, or let this government know that our people are being paid wrongly.
All right, thank you so much, Charlie. You listen to the callers.
Yeah, and I want to appreciate everybody. And to the last caller, like I said, Cape Mount is very dear to my heart, and we are concerned about the situation in Cape Mount. It's our old age thing. It is time that we put it on an end. There should be a national conversation surrounding it. The government should get involved. They should lead this conversation. The communities, the affected communities, the company, and the county in general. The county needs to benefit. Yeah, the county is the biggest victim in this entire arrangement because nothing is going to Cape Mount. It concerns us a lot. We don't want to be like you kick out rest in the future, because this is mineral they are taking out. Taking it out, diminishing is not there. Mineral don't grow. You take it out, and they finish.
They finish, yeah.
So what happens to Cape Mount? The people start to buy more of Cape Mount. The people can throw billions on your county, there's nothing to show. You kill cow, you eat virus. We don't want that kind of story. The issue of the war crime code, we are not saying that we are not protecting the perpetrator. For me, I'm leading that campaign that they should go to jail. But nothing like Liberia. That is my fear. My concern is that for national security reasons, you cannot host them here. The court shouldn't be hosted in Liberia. I know Liberians will love to watch it, to go and see them on trial. Chief, we'll watch it on TV. Yeah, but yeah, look at the security of the country first. Yeah, look at the peace of the country first. But we can tell all the time, be watching football game. Yeah, football game. Whole day people can walk in the net. The about be that they'll be watching people and that. People enjoying us in the net. People watching us, they will watch it. If that case is on, like in the net, in the day, we'll watch it. We'll have interest in it. But don't bring it here. Don't bring it here. It will be a terrible mistake if they try to host that court in Liberia. That's my fear.
Before we take leave of you, the GSC report is up, and somebody reporting 40 million, another person saying 20 million. The GSC is saying something totally different. So
you see, I was just thinking about this stuff. We need to go back to the statement, the report from the two ministers. Who gave President Boubacar the report? Brahma Kamara. The figure that President Boubacar called the Brahma Kamara report. Yeah. The figure that George Weah called the Sametua report. Yeah. So the two ministers, they lied to the two presidents. No, if Senator Ben report balances in all the accounts, the different accounts. They report the balances. They're not coming to tell you, say, I'm a government owing people. No, that's Senator Ben work. Senator Ben work is to report the balances. They give it to your final ministry people. Final ministry people also call the figure. The final ministry people went and misled the public. 12 misled we are first. We are king. He give a different figure. Joseph Boubacar when he lied to Joseph Boubacar he give a different figure. Then bro, big confusion. Yeah. Senator Ben to the court to go call the case. They went to the place. Senator Ben begin the legislative court and they can call the case. We confused. The other man reporting there. You can't tell. You can't call the case. The man went there. Man calling different number. At the end of the day, the whole thing press chakra. He crashed. So the two ministers lied to the two presidents. And what happened? They lied to the two presidents. I don't know the reason. You know, it's now time for President. We are President Boubacar to act. Okay, so Charlie, before we take leave of you, any final message? I mean, it's good being here. You know, once you come, I mean, I'm a real man. You know, everybody come for radio, I can be happy. Yeah, I'll be beyond God by if I can make it. If I can drive to the travel rack, Molobo, get to reach. Once you have to do with the conversation surrounding our country, we'll always be available. You know, don't mind somebody staying, will take some time. Yeah. Sometimes you have to be radical. But when it comes to Liberia in general, we can come clear. No interest supersedes Liberia interest. You can be my who. But when it comes to this, my country interest is bigger than anybody. All I support Joseph Boubacar, he start misstepping around with doing. That way it's clear. When we reach to that point that we'll have to differentiate between Joseph Boubacar and Liberia, we'll stay with Liberia. We not come in telling you because we say, oh, yeah, move, yeah, put Boubacar, so there be behind Boubacar, be clapping, oh, Boubacar, he press chakra, yeah, Boubacar. And then you have a Boubacar who's strong. Yeah, you do the right thing, we say. You do the wrong thing, we put you on the spotlight. Okay, Charlie. Thank you so much. We had to go, folks. So we'll be back here, folks, tomorrow morning on the weekend's edition of the Punch Breakfast Show. Harris Betty, Boubacar Kamara. For now, it's bye-bye from our end.